if you can take a mental note where you are at right now, noticing like what we just did for a minute, observing, observe whether there is like the depth of the breath or the shallowness of the breath, whether there is any resistance right now, or maybe there is an irregularity, maybe the breath is not very consistent. So just little mental notes that you can take. And if you want to share maybe 1 to 3 words about where you are at right now, and then we're going to go into a practice, and then we're going to compare the states. So my breath is fairly shallow, and I feel my inhale is almost like forced. It's like I'm breathing in because I cannot not breathe. It happens almost the last minute. I feel more comfortable exhaling and being without breath. And then the inhale happens like last minute. Okay, if I have to, I will. So there is that. If you want to share about your breath.
I too found my breath to be somewhat shallow, which is unusual because when I'm in a calmer state, I find I breathe more deeply. But right now, because we're concentrating on breath and you made me aware of it, I was like, oh, I'm a shallow breather right now. Why is that?
Interesting. And no need to interpret right now.
No, I'm not going to. I just
Yeah.
noticed it when you said,
Exactly.
be aware.
Nice. Thank you.
I've got a tightness in my chest, and so it's all a belly breathing. But I just feel like, yeah, my chest is almost collapsed.
Mm. Nice.
I was holding my breath, and then I noticed that Natalie disappeared, and I was holding it even more. I was like, what happened? She might come back, and yeah, like so I'm holding something.
Okay. So I would like to invite you to, there's only 4 of us. I would like to invite us to maybe one person can, so we're going to breathe. We're going to breathe for 4 minutes. And I'm going to stop the time, and we're going to breathe. We're going to inhale all together, and we're going to exhale with a sound. So, and we're going to try to sync our breath. So that if you can, maybe turn off the sound. So because otherwise it's going to get choppy and it's going to take us out. And maybe Jesus can mute, then it would be easy so that
Yes.
you don't have to
Yeah.
look for
Yes.
anything. And so you just concentrate on maybe my sound, and I'm gonna stop the time, and I'm gonna basically breathe. So can we sync our breath for 4 minutes, and then we're gonna share how we feel afterwards. I hope it's clear. If you have any questions, let me know. We can, sorry, now that everybody's muted, but is just an experiment. There is no outcome that has to be reached. We're gonna just observe what's gonna happen if we all breathe together. So let's do it. 4 minutes. Gonna take a deep breath in. Thirty seconds left. And last one. Hmm. Observing your body, your thoughts. What was the most prevalent thought? What is present with you right now? Which sensation? Maybe a little scan of your shoulder area, your chest. And when you feel like it, when you're ready, you can open your eyes, come back to the room. And I would love to hear your state right now. And maybe if you remember how you felt before, just observing. We're not changing anything, we're just observing. I feel so much more calm and present and grounded. A little bit like plugged in. And I feel, I want to say, very different. And Jesus, if you can unmute, please, that would be lovely.
Oops. Did you hear any of that?
No, you just,
Oh, I'll have to try again.
yes.
I said I felt like a softness as I was exhaling. It was like it was dissolving the tension in my body. And it was kind of creating more space.
Mm.
Um, I also felt as we were humming on my exhale, I started to almost turn into a mantra. And so then I had to walk over to my singing bowl, and I felt like I was like the singing bowl. And do you mind if I hit my bowl?
Do it.
Is it okay? So I also felt just like the singing bowl, I felt like there was a vibration going on around my heart, around my lungs, around my belly. I could just feel this beautiful vibration, which was
Mm.
again opening space for me and the relaxation. Like I just feel so different than my first breath when I came on. It's softer, it's easier, and more grounded.
Mm. Thank you, Cher.
Yeah, my breath is really changed. It became a full body breath, or uh, right from the beginning. So it wasn't just trapped in my stomach. My chest expanded, and I've been going in and out of a relaxation state and a tension state all morning. So right now I'm in relaxation mode.
Mm.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Thank you, Aiden. Mm.
Yeah, I just started quite relaxed. I still feel quite relaxed. But also notice how my attention went into checking on Natalie. I sent her a message on WhatsApp and see if she's okay. Just thinking about her.
And what is your state right now?
Yes, I feel presence. It's kind of a different quality that I feel in the room. And now it allows me to drop a bit more.
Mm. Hmm. So a little intro or explanation is that breath is a very, very basic co-regulation method. It's a regulation method, but also a co-regulation method. And what we did right now is taking a practice that is being done physically when two people lay close to each other and are actually touching each other. And when they sync their breath, they are co-regulating each other basically. So what we did now online is we co-regulated as a group. And I think it's very powerful that breath can do that even if we're not touching each other. And then from that, there is the bridge to Tango, where we are so close. We're basically, so that practice is called belly to belly, if you've ever heard about it. Belly to belly is basically two people lying next to each other on their sides with their bellies together. That's why it's called belly to belly. And they're breathing, they're syncing their breath. And it can go for half an hour, for an hour, or longer. Usually it's about an hour. So Tango is basically belly to belly in motion. And how how differently we can perceive a dance, the same dance. It's tango, but how differently we can perceive it with different people. And also another factor is how differently we can perceive it coming into the dance in a certain state. Because I'm being influenced by a person, but also I influence a person. And one little story that Jesus and I were talking, and I told him that, and he was like, "You have to share this." So there was one dancer in my 14 years of dancing. There was one dancer, and I told him, "You make me breathe." Because with him, I was so conscious of my breath, my breath. I still don't really know how he did it. He wasn't a teacher or like a professional dancer, nothing like that. He's a good dancer. And it was 2018. So anytime before him, from 2012, and anytime after him until now, I haven't experienced that. I haven't experienced a person who was so regulated, let's say, in their being that that person made me breathe. And I think it's quite remarkable because Jesus said then that how important it is what we are doing in our lives, we always bring it into the dance. He was so, I called him, I said it because I said he's like almost like a Buddha. He is so balanced in his life always.
Mm.
And it was like a very synchronized wave how he was leading and dancing.
Mm.
So how we, I think this is the like that's where tango is such a magical dance where we influence each other and where we have impact what we do in our lives, how we go into the dance, we're bringing everything with us and the other person. So we experience their lives and they experience our lives and we bring them together. And every time it's magic and it's different,
Mm.
sometimes a little bit rough, maybe less magical, but how important it is to also be aware of what I'm bringing into the couple.
What was really like about that story, Ella, is that it wasn't like he was telling you or inviting you to breathe or anything. It wasn't instructional. It
Mm-mm.
was just bringing his frequency, his energy, his state into the space, and then you felt that, and you were able to respond to that in a way. You At the end you experience it as a waves, right? And it made me think about the importance of spending at least a couple of seconds before your tanda to drop, to land, to change your state from distraction or worry or self-consciousness into presence. At least a couple of seconds. If you don't have that, probably practice that your partner at that time was having, I assume he was having. So I would say, if you have a practice where you every day regulate yourself and increase your capacity to be present, you bring that into the, and then you don't need 2 seconds, but you've been doing it all the time, and you bring that frequency of, I don't know how to call it or what label to use, calmness, presence, groundedness, whatever the label we use, is something that, as you say, makes you breathe,
Mhm.
right?
if if we need any questions at all, because I also know you will probably have so many things to share, Sharon, Aiden. And I would be curious how you experience the breath in the dance and maybe in your life. But yeah.
Well, for me, like I said, it kind of arrived at birth and it stays with us every moment. So it's quietly teaching us how to soften, receive, release, begin again. And in tango, the for me, the embrace becomes a place to remember all of that. like a held breath, I find creates distance, even when we've got two bodies that are really close. And a soft exhale can dissolve that tension and create sort of a space for our connection. So we don't just listen with our ears, we actually listen with our whole body. And for me, I was also a yoga instructor for many years. And yoga continually brought me back to the wisdom that exactly what you said, Alla, the breath is a bridge. It's a bridge between the body, the mind, and the presence. And when we bring that attention to our breath and allow it to slow and deepen, our nervous system actually settles and our thoughts then become quieter and we become more available to the moment. So we're there. We're breath is not simply something the body does. It's actually a pathway to into presence. And so for me, I think it's something really beautiful can happen when two people begin to breathe together. I find that the embrace starts to soften. I become more relaxed. We become more attuned with each other. And sometimes it can feel, and I actually said this once to one of my partners, that it can feel like two bodies are becoming one, just moving through space. Go check my beep here. I have something in the oven and it's good. We're not burning. Oh, it smells good though. Sorry.
Well, this breath talk is putting me to sleep, so I.
Oh, sorry,
less
Aiden.
inclined to talk.
Well, actually, there's one more exercise I wanted to bring up, and I don't know if any of you might have. Dimitris Bronowski, he had an idea, like on his podcast, The Curious Tangier. He had an idea that came from, what was her name? Raluca Aldea, I think was her name. So what I want to do is just, let's try it. You place one hand on your chest and take a deep breath. And notice your chest expanding. Now take another breath, but this time I want you to imagine sending that breath into your back. So that feel the back of your ribs expanding and notice what happens. This is what's going to happen in your embrace. As the back expands, the arms begin to open from the middle of the back, almost like wings. And then the front of your chest becomes softer and more spacious. So you are still connected to your partner, but you've now created a little bit more room between the two of you. And this Raluca, she described the embrace not simply as offering your chest to your partner, but creating space between your arms for your partner to enter. And I love this idea because it became, almost a beautiful paradox where we create space in order to receive. So we don't really need to hold our partner tightly in the connect with them. Instead, we just need to create that space, the spacious place for them to arrive. And maybe that's what makes the embrace feel like home, or safety is another word I use, where I feel safe. And one other exercise I had read about, I can't remember where I saw it, which was really interesting because, again, it was about inhale, like breath. And so they were talking about using breath in music. So if you put on some tango music and you explore, let's say, for example, an ocho. So it's kind of an inhale, allow the movement to expand and rise and unfold with the music. And then you'll notice the pivot becomes the release, that like almost like an exhale. So they said you could actually try this, just try following a melody, even just listening to the music. As it rises, you do your inhalation. And as the melody descends, then you release it, you exhale. So I thought that was really interesting because, of course, then I had a million questions, which were, how many different kinds of inhales could we do when you're listening to that kind of music with tango music? And how many ways can tango inhale? And how many ways can it exhale? And what happens to your movement when you begin to not just follow the rhythm, but the breath of the music? So I have lots of questions. And those are some of them.
Maybe these are not questions. Maybe they're like hints to experiment.
Or to experiment. Yeah. It's just like, when you're breathing in the dance, if we just did that little exercise where you are now dancing and you notice your breath and you feel that expansion in your back and you allow those arms to open up and you notice that space, then you notice your partner. And then can you breathe together without trying to make it happen like you did, Ala? Can you listen with your whole body? Can you allow the music to breathe through both of you? So perhaps the brace becomes softer, the movement becomes easier, the movement, you stop feeling like two people and you dance together and begin to feel like one body moving through the music. And I think we need to do that whether we're dancing, practicing yoga, sitting beside someone we love, or simply just moving through your ordinary day. Breath is always inviting us back into our relationship with ourselves, with another, with life, as if every inhale says, I'm here. And every exhale says, I can let go. And somewhere in between we meet. And the embrace is no longer just a hold. It breathes, it listens, it kind of speaks without words. And perhaps that's what the beautiful embrace, the magical one, is the one that gives us both the connection and also the room to breathe, which you experienced with that bridge.
Thank you, Cher.
You're welcome.
Mm.
Oh, that apple smells so good.
I think Aiden is gonna go over to your place and eat it.
Oh.
So I've got something blocking me. So I'm going to just throw out a few kind of random things.
Oopsie.
And
Oops.
first of all, I don't know, Ala, the question in the back of my mind that's been coming up. Do you travel and teach? Do you teach and travel?
I travel. I don't teach. I mean, not tango.
Oh.
Hmm.
What do you? Sorry, sorry for me being nosy here, but what
So,
do you teach?
somatic trauma therapy. I do workshops.
Ooh. Okay, I just find this really ironic.
I'm somewhere else.
Trauma to Tango. I know that's the name of a book.
I'm just excuse me, I'm really kind of whatever this morning, but I'm giving privates just started to a psychologist who's also a somatic trauma therapist. We haven't talked about that yet, but and I don't know if she's thought of making the connection with Tango or not, but I'm certainly going to. But I'm going to raise it this afternoon when we meet again. So that was one thing. By the way, if you're ever in Canada, let us know and we'll invite you up and set something up of some sort or another.
I would love that.
The remembrance or reflection on dance Oh boy. Sorry. Okay, hold on a second, folks. I've got to back this up a bit. That's what's happening. Um, this is an issue I have all the time, actually. Uh, we talk about stuff that's really uh, deep, sensitive, and we put it in a context that's um, pretty uh, just out there, pretty random, scattered almost. And okay, this is what I'm going to put you guys. Um, Over the course of an evening, we all, but I'll just talk about me, um, have dances on so many different levels, and some of it's like a wrestling match almost. Some of it's just bizarre. Some of it's um, and some of it once in a while there's those dances that really allow for that melding. But it's almost a risk almost to bring these concepts just kind of globally to the dance floor and to a partner, especially if it's someone you don't even know. I mean, in our community, I know virtually everybody, so it's not an issue. But I'm kind of very selective as to when I would open up in this way, and and it does bring back to mind a partner that's not dancing right now anymore. Maybe not anymore. I don't know. Hopefully, she's back on the dance floor sometime. But where we're really able to spend that time together, breathing, but it's rare, and it's rare, and it's the whole process of exploring or opening in that way is vulnerable and risky. So, um, and frankly, it's that tension I have with tango always, or at least talking tango always. It's we're bringing this really personal depth, intimate stuff into a. Um, it's not a container, or it's a container with a whole bunch of holes in it. And I mean, I suppose it would be um, if you were, well, I don't know. Anyway, I don't know if that resonates or that makes any sense to anybody.
Well, actually, Aiden, I want to say sometimes I think you complicate things. Um, I just think back to in your slow mo class where I did some breath work with the group. Just trying to get people grounded and actually doing some belly breathing, because that will help calm our nervous system and help us get rid of anxiety. So when you integrate it into a class, it doesn't feel intimate. Um, it feels like it's part of an exercise to help you move forward um, with your tango. It's kind of the base. Breath for us is the base. It's a base of living. You know, our very first breath was an inhale when you began in this world. So, but I understand when you're talking about within a dance, it can feel very vulnerable. But I think there's a balance there, because if you bring it into your teachings, which you do, um, it will help people be more aware of breath and the connection. between it.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
that's just my opinion.
Hmm. When Aiden was talking, I felt like I have this vision or this picture of me living on the bottom of the ocean. And it's very rare when I feel like somebody descends down to my depth and feels the depth that I'm feeling all the time. And while Aiden was talking, I felt like, oh, we are on the bottom of the ocean. Because for me, I observe this intimacy as well. And yes, Cher, you're absolutely right that on the one hand, it's actually something so basic. We all share breath, like everybody breathes. You know, if anything, if we cannot, let's say, assume that everybody has two arms and two legs, because not everybody has two arms and two legs, but
Right.
everybody is breathing. And at the same time, if you are doing it consciously, I don't know whether you've ever had it in your dance, but when you the first embrace that you get into, and then there are, and for me, I'm speaking about the leaders because I'm a follower. So when the leader actually don't doesn't make the step immediately, but actually takes couple breaths before we even take a step, it drops the whole dance so much deeper. And yet we're not doing anything else. We're just breathing. But it feels already 1,000 times more intimate than if we just standing together close to each other. We didn't change anything. We didn't change the closeness. We didn't change the like space between us. We didn't change anything. But we are not even looking into each other's eyes. But if these couple breaths happen before we take a step, it's already like we're sinking our understanding of depth or something. I don't know how else to explain it. And then what is also like what is happening for me is that sometimes leaders pause within a song and just,
Mhm.
and that feels intimate or more intimate. So I don't know, I want to emphasize that yes, it is. I mean, I don't know whether it requires the experience of it, because there is absolutely for me a difference between dancing and breathing together. Does that make sense?
Sergio, or Jesus, sorry, Jesus, sorry. Uh, an, an example would be your blog, the last one, where you talked about uh, the experience of being received and settling into that. Uh, brought tears to my eyes reading that. That I mean, that would, I mean, to go to those places. Um, uh, yeah, well, Alice comment about sinking
Mm.
into the depths. It's so yeah, it's so vulnerable and tender that I'm going to say you have to be really, we have to be, or it requires a lot of courage of myself to to be open in that way, to be present in that way in the
Mm.
dance.
Mm.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so beautiful when you do that, Aiden. You need to dance with Allah. Allah needs to come here because you will experience that breath. Because I do find Aiden does that, especially at the beginning of a tanda. He'll just take that extra time and make sure the follow is grounded.
Mm.
And sometimes you'll actually feel that breath going in and out. It is beautiful.
Thank you.
Mm. Even what I also wanted to say is very small thing. Even when you just hug a person, I don't know whether you've ever experienced it,
Yes.
but when you hug a person and you hug that person a little longer, and there is that moment, it's either the person holds their breath the whole time, and then when you separate, it's, huh? Or the person exhales in the embrace. And when the person exhales in the embrace, I don't know. It's a magical moment. I don't know. Sometimes I do it intentionally when somebody embraces me and I want to create more intimacy between us.
Mm.
I exhale.
Mm.
And I don't know what this is. I haven't read any scientific whatever research about it, but I feel like it's even with my father. Like when we stand embraced, and it's like both of us are like, and then when I notice that consciously, and then it changes the whole dynamic, and it feels vulnerable to me, like how Aiden says, it feels vulnerable. It feels like I'm letting go of the armor or of something. And but even in the embrace, like even in normal hug, let's say, not even dancing tango, and imagine us doing this over and over and over again within even the 3 minutes, and let alone the 12 minutes or the 15 minutes.
Another reflection is following what you're saying, Aidan, Allah, is, I mean, it's one expression that the body knows. Um, Sometimes commands or instruction like just take a deep breath or just relax doesn't work. The body knows when the conditions are there to really exhale and breathe. If talking about the dance context, if the embrace and the frame is comfortable, if the presence is there, if your body feels oriented in the space, you are aware of other bodies and you know where you are. If there is clarity in the movements or invitations in the dance, then the body has the conditions to respond and breathe freely. It's like, yes, breathing is one strong tool we have at our disposal. but along with others. I would say proper technique. Yes, clarity, direction, safe container. Like being there with the best of your energy and the best of your intention with your partner. The body knows and it responds to it. That's why I feel sometimes when I get a hug like the ones you mentioned, Ala, long hug, once the body understands that it's okay, I can do it really, really, really deeply and surrender. Takes a little, it takes a little bit, like what
Mhm.
it is, and then you realize it's okay, and then the body knows, and then you allow yourself into
Mm,
that space.
mm,
Wow, that's beautiful.
mm. I would like to take this and point to the dual awareness of, on the one hand, taking breath as um, a tool, like you said, Jesus, like as a tool to, let's say, regulate. Completely overuse this word, but okay, for simplicity sake, to regulate, or we can use the breath to become aware. Like you said, the body knows. So, first is, how is my breath? And even in, like, not even, but as well as in normal life, but also in tango, if I'm noticing that I'm holding my breath, maybe my body perceives something that I don't feel safe. And it can be anything. It doesn't have to be something um, major, something bad, something big. It can be something very small that my body is perceiving and doesn't feel safe. And then I would like to um, call to our attention that it's not always possible to regulate, or not even always necessary to regulate. Maybe it's valid. Maybe what the body is perceiving is valid.
Mm.
Mhm.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
like what we were, like, just a quick thing, like what
Mhm.
when Jesus and I were talking, and before the call, and when he wrote in his blog, not the last one but before that, when the dentist is telling you to take a deep breath, but the body feels threatened, and it's a valid threat. Like, why am I going to relax when I know I'm going to receive pain? But oftentimes it's not that obvious.
That's great.
Oftentimes it's not that obvious. Oftentimes it's not a dentist. Oftentimes it's not a person that I know is going to cause me pain. Sometimes it's just the energy
Mm.
where I don't feel
Yes.
safe.
Yes.
And I would love for everybody to acknowledge that and be kind with the body and be consciously aware and pay attention on like what's going on around me that doesn't make me feel safe, because it can be anything. It can be a painting on the wall that reminds me of something in my childhood or whatever, and there I go, spinning off into something. And then, and only then, if I notice, oh, it's just a painting, yes, I might be able to want to deal with it at a certain time, but maybe right now I can take whatever, 5 deep breaths and tell my body, okay, animal, It's okay, we're scared because we perceive something threatening. And I, as a conscious parent, know that this picture has nothing to do with my experience right now. It has all to do with my experience of 30 years ago. So, yes, I want to regulate myself. I want to bring myself down and to calm the animal and say, okay, I got you. I hear you. I'm aware of you, like a child that is throwing a tantrum. I'm here with you. And right now, this is not the reason why we're going to freak out. And I think this difference of not always trying to regulate,
Mm.
it's like trying to calm down a child without knowing why the child is screaming. Pointless.
Mm.
Ella, if I, your words come with such clarity and strength. Of course, you should, it really cleans things up. But it does bring to mind an experience I had.
Oh,
This young fellow had taken some photographer. I'm going to try and talk through the whole thing. Um, uh, Pictures of little moccasins, um, and he had them situated in different places, naturally along the roadside, on a tree stump, on a windowsill, and I saw one picture. I looked at one picture that he had in these two little moccasins on beside a river. And when I saw that, I just absolutely instantly broke out in sobs. And it was in a public place. It was a farmer's market or something like that. And I turned away, and there was this large native fellow. And I say that because there was a native moccasins there, and he just held me. And what did he say? I don't know, something like, "Yeah, these pictures can really bring back memories," or something like that, or bring out memories. Um, yeah, anyway, it was just you were talking about pictures evoking uh, responses, and yes, to not always want to regulate, to often, of course, have to release. That's it.
Mm.
Mm. Mm.
It made me think about when, especially with people like us, pretty um, eloquent with therapeutic talking, like nervous system regulation, co-regulation, etc., etc. We many times judge holding our breath like something that is bad, whereas probably it's, well, I'm pretty sure it's not a bad thing to hold your breath. To hold your breath is perhaps the normal reaction of your body, of your system, to something that is there and you probably are not conscious about. So holding your breath, probably instead of judging holding your breath, you just see it and notice it. And not even try to fix it, like take it, I'm gonna take a deep breath now. Because probably it's not possible. but notice it and hold your holding breath right there, because there is information that is precious.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's so true. I think about sometimes, like, when you see something that is breathtaking, you actually do hold your breath. And I do recall a hug one time where I was holding my breath because it was so beautiful and I didn't want to let go. And for some reason, I thought if I exhaled, it would stop.
Mm. And if we think about it, how what a picture can do to us, what a picture can evoke, how, like, is it even possible to comprehend what a person can do?
Yeah.
Like, and I was just sometimes I'm wondering, some people that I dance with, and it doesn't even have to be a man, because I also dance with a lot of women who are very, I judge them in the beginning as snobbish, like they don't even look at me. And then after some time, maybe there is a situation where we say hi to each other or something, and then we do dance. And it's almost like when I think about it, how crazy is this situation that we hug each other or that we pull each other close for 15 minutes, a complete stranger. Maybe it's normal to be completely freaked out and like, I'm totally that person who judges people as snobbish. And now more and more I'm thinking maybe they're just taking care of their energy and they're dancing only with people who they perceive as safe. And maybe this is just a healthy attunement to my nervous system, that I'm not going
That
to.
is a beautiful observation, Ella. Beautiful.
It just came. It just came.
Because it's so true. Yes. Wow. You're profound, girl.
I was just last week. I was sorry. Say it again.
No, go ahead.
I was just last weekend was a marathon in Berlin, and I danced with a dancer that I have been wanting to dance with for such a long time, and for I don't know how many years he didn't even say hi, and then he started saying hi, and then finally on the last day of the marathon, I'm talking about, we've known each other for a couple of years now. He actually asked me to dance, and it was like I was embracing him like a Chinese vase, like something so precious. Like I was like, my God, you are such a. I had a feeling of him being not a scared animal, but like super cautious. And so I wanted to give him warmth and safety, and it was just such a beautiful dance. But now I'm thinking like, yeah, he is just taking care of his energy. And what am I doing? What have I doing before? I was kind of forcing myself, or created a picture of kindness, being dancing with everyone. But it's not fair to my own animal. It's not fair because I don't want to dance with everybody. And maybe it's okay. Maybe I shouldn't judge it. I don't know. It's just the realization of now.
One thing I like to emphasize and like to keep in mind, I don't always, but I do draw attention to it sometimes in the class instruction, and that is uh, the approach and your intent, opening up your intention in the approach. So with eye contact, with a smile, um, and then the little things that we do, like extending your be my left hand, my partner's right hand, and as you take that hand, and then as you slowly negotiate and embrace, but just with uh, being sensitive to each to the whole um, that entering into each other's energetic space. Um, it's a big deal. I don't, irrespective of who it is, what kind of dancer they are, when you come together in that with that intention. I mean, there's a real engagement that takes respect, takes attention, takes reverence,
Hmm.
and then of course breathing, taking that few seconds initially. And then of course, if we're being really attentive, then we'll revisit all those dynamics uh, throughout the dance, every phrasing.
I I like the I like the title of that blog, Aidan. I don't dance with the strangers. Um, I've been thinking about it and how it happens that when I go to every week, every 2 weeks to the same space, intend to dance with the same group of people, I don't know much about them. I don't know details of their personal lives or even what they do for living or anything else, family, if they're married or not, children. I have no idea. But after a while, I know everything about them because we've been dancing together for now years and we've been moving together. Yeah, I know your blog was pointing to something else probably, but it made me think that, yeah, at the end, we don't dance with the strangers when we dance like that. We get to know at a very primal level, which is our movement and our bodies, both of us breathing together in different rhythms or missteps or mistakes or whatever. But we learn a lot. So we become family, even though we don't know even the names of the people.
uh, Thank you.
Mm.
Uh, that's I don't know how you make sense of that. Like think it through, but it's absolutely true.
Mm.
Hmm.
Anyway, you guys have had me really weepy this morning, so it's a good thing.
Mm, mm, that was such a love this gathering. It's exactly my type of depth. So thank you so much. And maybe to slowly round off, if we could say a few words, what we take away um, from these hour and a half.
I'm only sharing a message from Natalie. She had to take an urgent call. That's why she
Thank you.
disappeared, but she said that sorry to miss for me.
We are sorry to miss
Well,
you.
Oh,
I feel
okay.
like your share feels the same way, that we're so privileged that you two take this time, because
Oh, I know. I am
it's often
so
just
grateful. So grateful.
receiving.
It's nice to find people in the world who are that deep and are asking these very basic questions, but they're not basic. There's nothing basic about them. They're deep. They're deep conversations, and I appreciate it. Thanks. Thank you so much. So I'm going to give my final thought here. I'm going back to we breathe from the moment we are born. Our first breath is an inhale, the beginning of our life in this world. And then we continue to breathe moment after moment through all that follows, receiving, releasing, holding, softening, beginning again, until one day there is a final exhale, our last breath on earth. Between that first inhale and the final exhale is the dance of our lives. And perhaps Tango gives us a way to become a little more conscious of that dance, to feel the breath, to share it, to listen through it, and to meet another human being in the space between that inhale and exhale. So every time we enter the embrace, perhaps we can remember we are here, we are breathing, and for this moment, we are dancing.
Oh, so
Send
beautiful.
that to me.
So thank you for the dance, and thank you for the breathing.
Q share.
Yes,
I've been breathing, laughing, crying. This probably covers it.
Isn't it live, laugh, love, or something like that? Oh, and breathe. So I think we need one big exhale together.
Yeah, let's do that.
An inhale and a big exhale.
Yeah.